Acura's MDX, very important to the company. It's almost a third of their sales. Add it to the little brother RDX and you're basically talking about the company right there. So when they did this revision for 2014, they had to get it right. It's still highly recognizable, but there's been a lot of things changed on the tech and underneath. Let's drive this 2014 all-wheel drive with the advanced and entertainment packages and check the tech. Now you'll notice the MDX is still very much the same kind of look. A little softer and thicker to my eyes, a little more Audi to be honest. It's 2 inches longer, but it didn't go to legroom for the front row passengers, more to the rear cargo space. Now to my mind it is, like so many vehicles in its class, a 2.5 row vehicle. There is a so-called third row of seating, but it's actually seating. Luckily, if you do need to use it for like groceries, it's easier to get to. Now they have an easier sliding second row technology. Now, if you haven't been in an Acura lately, this is pretty cool. Stacked, large LCDs, and they've revised the interface rather substantially. This down here on the bottom is a really good-looking and major improvement over what Honda Acura used to do for presenting media and such. Here are your sources. Let's take a look at these. AM and FM with HD radio, satellite radio, optical disc, that's CD and DVD on this rig, 15 gigabyte hard drive, USB that can also handle iPod, Bluetooth streaming, Pandora and AHA support are built into the car, and of course, aux jacks front and rear. As you can see, touchscreen here, not up here. The one above is driven by either menu buttons down here or this kick, turn, and click controller. Whatever you're listening to, 2 audio systems, bass or ELS audio, which is a big deal with Acura. And of course, you got a lot of settings for that, including different types of surround, subwoofer. There are speakers in the ceiling for the rear entertainment system. They've really jacked this one up. And you can't see this, but there's haptic feedback on the screen. You know, you get a little buzz or a bump when you touch something, but I haven't found that it makes a big difference in the vehicle. It can all get to be a bit complicated though. There are 2 or 3 ways to do almost everything in this car. Here's the one that infuriates me the most. It's an example of over-interface. This is where you go to set the seat heater. In some cars, you got a little plastic switch. On this one, you've got the most amazing multi-level. There's one ribbon for heat, a ribbon below that for cooling, and then you've got an off and an automatic mode that I guess follows the cabin temp. Too much. Now the navigation interface has not been dramatically revised, but I still struggle with it for a couple of reasons. They've got this thing called Acura Link now under local search. It's a little pokey, but in this case I was trying to get to the Fairmont Hotel in San Francisco. I know how to get there. I wanted the best route under traffic conditions, so I searched for Fairmont. First of all, you can't do any of this while you're moving, so neither myself or anyone else in the car can enter using the keyboard. So then I was stuck with voice command.
After the beep, spell the place or category name 1 letter at a time.
Fairmont.
Spell the place or category name 1 letter at a time.
Hotel.
Press the talk button to select the command list.
Seriously? Fairmont.
Pardon? No command was heard. Press the talk button and say a command.
It didn't ask for a command, it asked for a place name, and then when I gave it a place name, it wanted a command. This was the most infuriating system ever for entering a destination while driving. Voice simply does not work, and it's fully locked out when you're rolling. And even when I pulled over, used the knob, entered Fairmont, and specified hotels, it didn't find the one in San Francisco. It found a bunch all over the country. The one in San Francisco is world famous. How can it not find that, especially when it knows where I am? Big fail. Bottom line, it's going to be a big toss-up every time you drive this car. Are you going to use that nav or this nav? This works better. That one is supposedly less distracting. I don't think so, because I was really infuriated while I was driving. Now back here is one of the new breed of more innovative, larger entertainment systems. First of all, look at the screen. This is optional on the full trim MDX, but look at that thing. It's 16 inches super wide. And you say, well, why? How much can you stretch a DVD? You see it doesn't fill up most of the screen. However, what I can do, I can turn this into a dual screen watching 2 things on there at once. So I hit this dual guy right here. That moves my DVD to the right. I now choose my left source. I'm going to go HDMI, which is also very cool. And what I've got hooked up there is my Android phone, which has an HDMI output port. So there it is. I'm using mirroring mode on my Android OS, and there's the desktop of my phone. That's kind of interesting. So this can become kind of the ultimate remote desktop as you're working in the back, or just go to YouTube and your phone becomes your all-in-one entertainment system right here on a nice big screen. First of all, Acura gets some kind of an award for the lowest opening hood that I've ever shot under, so pardon me. 3.5-liter V6 down from a 3.7 in the last MDX. 290 horse out of this guy, 267 foot-pounds of torque. Pretty good numbers, direct injection technology, of course. 0 to 60 for this roughly 4,300-pound crossover SUV is 6.5 seconds or so in the all-wheel drive trim. A 6-speed automatic is your only choice. That's a relatively small number of gears by today's standards, and the top 2 are overdrive, part of that MPG thing, but I'm going to want to see if it hunts out the top gears too much, because I always hate that. It kills responsiveness. Okay, so about that MPG, 18 city, 27 highway, 21 combined. Quite a bit better than the outgoing model. Look at the old car, 3.7 V6, had 300 horsepower, that was 10 more, 270 foot-pounds, 3 more, but much worse MPG, 1621. Okay, on the road, the MDX has nice smooth power. It doesn't come on with a sporty urgency, no matter what I do, unless I get on the gears, drop it down a couple, get it in sport mode, and really get some revs working. You gotta really push it to get this thing to have any urgency. Now let's get on the freeway and have a little bit of fun with our self-driving MDX, which it just about is. So I've hit the main button here. I've got adaptive cruise on, lane keep assist on. You can see right there I've got my lane keeping divider lines, and I'm also gonna switch on my adaptive cruise control here. You see, if I get into that motor, it's really nice, but you gotta really prompt it to wake up. Okay, so now I'm going to drive along here in these lane lines, and I'm going to let the car steer its way between the lanes. Okay, now let's see if it'll take over. There we go. Now my hands are right by the wheel for safety in case this thing doesn't get it right. I'm drifting a little bit in the lane here, and if you look in that overhead camera, I think you're going to see it start to steer. See that little nibble right there? It's not dramatic. See that? Right there. Now, it just beeps to me, you must get your hands on the wheel, and it seems to defeat the self-steering when it does that. So it doesn't let you drive along for more than about 10 seconds like this. Coming into a left turn there you go. That's a pretty good turn it's making by itself. That's crazy. Now combine this with the adaptive cruise where the car is working the accelerator, working the brakes quite pronouncedly, and you get a real taste of what at least semi-autonomous cars are going to be like. Now the other thing I've got on this car, it's hard to demonstrate, but take my word for it, if you get too close to a vehicle in front of you, it's going to flash a big light on the dash that says brake, and it blinks an orange light in the windshield like a head-up display, but it's just an orange light. It also has collision mitigating braking, so it's also going to help you or bring the car to largely a stop when it sees you closing on something too hard. Not going to demonstrate that. I guess in sum, I came away from this car expecting it would have a little more driving spirit and also all this self-driving tech. It ends up having more self-driving tech than joie de vivre as a driver's car. Our MDX is loaded, as I mentioned, all-wheel drive with advance and entertainment packages. That's top of the stack, so 57.4 with destination. About the only option I would add to go CNET style would be LED fog lamps for 5.5. You're at just a tick under 58 grand now. But if you want a lot of tech in the cabin, as well as helping to keep you in good shape on the road, this is one of the class leaders.